Welcome to week 3 of Culture and Change. In week 3, we will be assessing culture. In other words, we will be measuring culture. In the first 2 weeks, we defined what culture is and how it develops. We talked a little bit about subcultures. We talked about and read about whether or not culture is related to organizational performance and effectiveness. Brings us to week 3, kind of the natural extension, and that is this: if culture is important, then how do we measure it? Because if we want to change culture, if we want to adapt our culture, we really have to know what it is. You have 2 different books for this course, and they approach this topic very differently. Their definitions of culture are different, and the way that they measure and assess culture are very different. And which one is correct, which one is the best approach, I'll leave that up to you. I'm not going to tell you which one is best. I have my own opinion, but I don't know that my opinion is right. The authors of both of those books are very intelligent, very well-educated individuals with many years of experience in this field, and they both believe in their approaches, and I think both of their approaches have value. While I tend to like one a little more than the other, again, I think they both have value. The Cameron and Quinn approach is a survey approach. There's a survey that Cameron and Quinn believe can be used. Individuals will answer the questions on this survey. The survey is then scored, and then that survey essentially tells you that this is the current culture of your organization. It also will tell you the preferred culture of the organization, and specifically there are 4 types that Cameron and Quinn talk about. The Shine approach is very different. Shine doesn't necessarily believe or espouse that there are certain cultural types, or I should say this way: there's no predetermined or set number of culture type. There could be many different culture types. Shine believes approaching the measurement of culture from a very open-ended qualitative in a very open-ended qualitative manner. He believes a lot in things like interviews and observation. And in particular, Shine believes that when you find inconsistencies, you've stumbled upon something. For example, I worked for a company, it's been many years ago. It was a factory type setting, and there were signs, actual signs throughout the place that would say things about how important safety was, safety this, safety that, and yet the practices there were very inconsistent with what those signs said. The behavior of management employees did not reflect an importance or priority in safety, even though the signs said that. Those inconsistencies are very important in showing you, revealing something about the culture. So two very different approaches. I'd ask that this week, when you do your reading in your 2 books, that you just keep in mind that there's different approaches, and recognize where their approaches are different, and think about which approach you think is more valuable and more useful. Think about which approach you think is more cost and time efficient. Not that we want to necessarily always make decisions based on cost and time. However, sometimes a necessity, we have to. So enjoy. As always, please contact me this week if you have any questions or comments. Have a great week.